favourite haunts when I was doing long distance driving. It's on the A41, so you'll always get some of the old school Irish will come in. Pretty smart wagons, these Irish lads. There we are. The old loader as well. Time to go home. I think if your cafe has properly mashed tea in a teapot, it's probably a good cafe. Well, it is for me. The bikes here, they seem to like that one. Well, that's up to them. This place, to me, is unchanged from when I was a pretty young lorry driver, I've got to say. I remember that garage over there, just the same, and that pub. Incredible. So Friday, we had what is known as an epic. It was an unavoidable epic, and there was no way of it not being an epic. But yeah, I felt it. By the end of that, I felt it. So I needed to collect a J45 crusher from Oldham. There was no way I was going to get there. They needed it. They were still using it at 4:30. So I needed to do other work first. So I did the other work, got across to Oldham. And then, because they're working with it, thankfully, one of the machine operators, Paul, great friend of mine, Paul Knight, stayed behind and helped me clean it and strip it down so we could load it. But even saying that, I can't set off the embargo. There's an STGO embargo in Manchester. And you're not allowed to set off until 6:30. So, but to be quite honest, by the time it had been dug out, stripped down and unbolted, because the guy who assembled it did a good job, he bolted everything into place, so it all needed to be unscrewed and taken apart. Yeah, it was a fairly epic task, I've got to say. So look at this lorry now, there's hardly any room to overtake there. Why is he doing that? Well, one of us will have to be a grown-up and let him in. Like an idiot. Is there a need for that? You tell me. What mission is he on? It's a big old site, that there. I think it's automatic gearboxes that enable drivers to drive so recklessly, because the gearbox gives you the illusion that you're fast and you're not. So if you just press the accelerator down really hard, yeah, it will set off, especially if it's empty. Lorries are pretty powerful. So it gives you the impression that you're a fast driver, and same with motorists. And you're not. Nowhere near as fast as that wagon is. And certainly that idiot isn't. So there you go, look at that. He's about, I don't know, a car's length behind the car in front who's reasonably driving along at around 50 miles an hour. Just because you've had a bad day, you don't take it out on the other road users. That's just silly. So as I was saying before I was rudely interrupted, so yeah, it all needed stripping down. Crikey, what a job. And this weather, it had tipped down on the place. It was absolutely black. And it's a crusher, as I said before, it's got lots of little shells all over it. You've got to make sure all the bricks are off, because if a brick comes flying off that when you're driving along, people are going to get hurt. So, yeah, well, that was that. I got back in our yard, got it off. Consequently, after moving 3 20-ton diggers that were all fairly filthy, although they've been dug out, they're still filthy. I needed a quick wash, so the trailer got washed. Needed some fuel to get down here to Whitchurch. So, yeah. Then you get back in your own yard and you need to get loaded for the next day. You can't afford to leave it till the morning. It's got to be done that night. So yeah, that was a pretty hefty day. I started, 6:10 and finished, crikey, something like 9:05. So, and I was up at 6:05 this morning, daily checks as you've seen, and on the way down to Whitchurch. The boys were all away early. We all got there. I was last in, but literally swapped places with Simon. He was just leaving as I pulled in. The young Leon had stopped and had a coffee as well. He could only have been no more than 10 minutes in front of Simon. I took a bit of time measuring that machine, because the quickest way down it is down the A49, and there's a low bridge, it's 14.3. Now, on my old trailer, a 135 was 14.3. So this trailer sits a little bit lower. So I had a quick check, and it does. And we were running at 13.10. So that enabled me to nip under the low bridge at Tarpley, which I was quite pleased about. When I was a young driver, I used to come along here quite a lot. The A49 was quite a regular route for the jobs that we used to do. So as a drive, I quite like it. And really, if you think about trying to get around Crewe and the roundabouts and the traffic lights, even in the ring road, you as well to go this way. It's just as easy. Certainly on a Saturday when it's like this, I've got the road to myself. It's wonderful. Just a bit of retarder here. I used to ride motorbikes back in the day, and I would come here. I had a Laverda 650, and I'd zoom up and down here, or I think I was zooming up and down here, pretending I was in the TT, riding like a reckless idiot. not unlike that young driver who's passed me before. So maybe that's why I think about the A49 so much, because of that. But it's a pleasant enough drive. When you look at these small farms, they're always a bit knackered now, aren't they? Everything needs to be so big to make money. This area always reminds me of last debate. Not supposed to swear on YouTube, so the shower of human excrement over Cheshire was one of his stories, but he didn't quite say it like that. And how Knickerbrook got its name. Knickerbrook is a corner on Ulton Park racing circuit, and he describes how it got its name. And thinking about him and the character and the era that he existed, he was very similar to Fred Dibney. I'm sure the story is true, but it's certainly a very good after dinner speech, I've got to say that. Then there's the Beeston hill climb, which I think is just over here. And over there to our left is Hawkstone Park, I think, over there. Which, if anyone is quite into British motocross, will know quite well. I did a bit of motocross, but I was certainly never good enough to ride at Hawkstone Park. Dear God. Bit retarded here. Take it off when we get in. Bit of apex. Oh, a bit of racing terminology. These roads are suffering. Look at these potholes along here. This is the dreadful weather we're having. It's undermining every bit of ground in the country. I mean, look at, if you can see from the camera, and I know that actually the scene from the camera is not particularly brilliant, but some of the fields are absolutely waterlogged. They are more like duck splashes than they are fields. Farmers can't make money if the fields are underwater. The weather this year is hopefully it's going to be better than last year. When you get a road like that, I can see why the bikers come here. And it's a fairly blind summit, so we can't be using all the road. We don't need to do, just keep the speed down. The limit for lorries along here is 50, which is incredible really. I'm doing 40 and that feels particularly fast. Say it's a limit, not a target. That's a nice drive to Wrexham down there that way. I used to do a job once that needed me to go to Wrexham and then from Wrexham to Crewe, so we used to come down that road. Yeah, nice place, nice ride. Temptation to cut these sweeping corners is huge, and to keep a higher corner speed, but you can't. The general public don't particularly understand that you're going to do that, and you can't be on the wrong side of the road going round the corner. It's dangerous, especially now I can see over all these hedges fairly well, but if you're a motorist, you can't. So you just have to trust yourself and get your front near side bumper on the line or near that far side, and that'll draw you around safely. I've got to say, low loader trailers, by their very nature, handle very well. So here we are, big tractor, big Bailey trailer. They don't mess about, these farming lads, they really don't. Cyclist. Personally, I wouldn't cycle down a road like this, but it isn't. Well, it is an A road, but it's not the main route these days as it used to be. So any cyclist is completely entitled to cycle down here, but I don't think I would. There's not a lot of room for you and traffic, especially if it's traffic going both ways at the same time, and people are impatient and they're going to endanger your life. And what, except you've got your right to cycle, but I'd also say it's a fairly dangerous occupation, I don't know. Gosh, look at that field. These houses, crikey. That was a curious undertaking. I think it was this house here on the right, that one, yeah. That big black and white, and that was on the ticket, big black and white house. 800, 3 buckets. It was those buckets that just won't fit together as well. I think I had to like come out with one and put it on and then go back and get the other two. Flipping things. Then there was the big debate, will I fit underneath here? Well, yeah, you can, with an 8-ton. There's some new builds across the street from that, and or newly renovated is probably the best word. And the guy came out and says, you can turn around in here if you want. I went, good grief, thank you very much. So I did. So Nick Brooks' machine's in there. Big crusher. Like a power screen. Oh yeah, beastin'. All these have gone up since I've been here, since I've been regularly visiting here. I can't for the life of me remember what that used to be before. A bit more, that's it. So, coming down here, all the way down here on the retarder, no use of the service brakes whatsoever. It's 40 now anyhow, so I'm doing about 35. Down a gear, ease off. It's quite a tight corner this, and also there's people knocking around, so let's be careful. Who's that machine there? Flannery's. I hear that. So we are now in, I would describe as leafy Cheshire, I think. Just on the outskirts of Alton Park's just about half a mile up here. Oh, go easy. Thankfully, this area seems to manage to remain rural rather than more developed. Windsor, we're down there day before last. See if we can get to these lights without stopping. Oh, I think we might have to wait a bit too long. It used to be a big thing not stopping at the lights and being able to get to the lights without stopping. It's supposed to be better for your clutch. I guess if you've all got automatic lorries, and probably me not too long in the future, it's probably not that important anymore. I don't know. We're doing it. Oh, we're just getting a bit too close. Is it going to change? Four-way lights? No, we're going to get it. Yeah, so it always is easier on your clutch to start from moving rather than starting from stationary. That synchro, always. If you don't give it just that enough revs, it'll give you a bit of a rattle. There's certainly some sort of event on today. That's a lot of horse boxes. It's a bit of a polo field thing over there, I think. That's a polo field on the right. Oh, it's in quite good order, given the weather we've had. And if I remember rightly, Alton Park's behind here somewhere in these trees. It's further down, must be. Quite lovely actually. Same thing. Will we get through these lights? I think we might do. Change down. There she goes. Yeah. And we're through. 13 tonner down there, an old Hitachi, V8 Hitachi. SMT, plan lads. And this is the last little bit before we get to the motorway, where we'll leave you. As I'm sure people don't particularly find the motorway that interesting. I don't think I do. Yeah. Oh yeah, I've been lucky with the lights again. See if we get through here. Down the gear. Res, clutch in. Oh, just a bit of a crunch. Yeah, go for it. I got a piling rig out of this housing estate. Crikey, I'm sure it must have been comfortably 15 years ago, 10 years ago at least. And the sign's up, they've still got construction going on. Crikey. Or maybe my memory is just dreadful. I'd hate to have to go in there for a job. It looks really tricky in there actually. When it's all finished and everyone's cars are on the curbs and whatever, it makes life quite difficult. So we've just got the last little stretch so we get to the metal bridge, and after the metal bridge we'll say goodbye. And it's much more predictable roads like this now, not quite as interesting. Bridge, and we'll say goodbye. So thank you for watching, thank you for joining me on a little drive up from the Midway up to Warrington, or just shy of Warrington. See you again, take care, thank you for watching, bye bye.